We're just going to set up my cello because I want to play you something first. I should explain this cello is a pensioner. It's 250 years old, and it's certainly the first time it's been to Mexico. And I'd like to play you a piece of music first of all that comes from where I come from, which is England. You might be able to tell from my ridiculous accent. Sorry. And this piece was written in about 1450, so it's even older than the cello. So I just need to untangle here. Guys, all right. Well, no, hang on a second. I just need to check that. I need to be able to get my feet here. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. I want to talk to you about music and a few what-if things. I was very pleased when I saw that the title of this whole meeting was What If? I'm a classical musician. Well, I was a classical musician, and then I had a sort of what-if moment that changed everything. That piece of music I played you, as I said, it comes from the 15th century, from England, and I played it in a concert in India, in Calcutta, a few years ago. And a very old Indian gentleman came up to me at the end, wearing a turban, very beautiful clothes, much more beautiful than mine. And he said, that piece that you played, it is Indian. I said, no, it's not Indian, it's English, it's from where I'm from. He said, no, this is a very famous Indian raga, an Indian tune, and it comes from the 14th century. At which point I realized I didn't really understand. I didn't know anything really about music, because this, obviously, there's no way that England and India could have met at that point. And it made me think, well, maybe music is sort of in the air. It's kind of like a gas that surrounds us. Maybe tunes float around and they're just there for us to pick out of the air sometimes. And I thought, rather than just talk about it a lot today, I would try and prove that to you at the end of this talk. And I stand to possibly make an idiot of myself, so that's fine. I don't mind. I'm English. It's what we do. Apart from saying sorry a lot, and that will give me a chance to say sorry a lot. And it made me think, well, maybe people talk about cloud music. Maybe that's the first kind of cloud music. Maybe we've had cloud music for a long time. I'm not sure. I mean, what I do think is that, as I say, music sort of surrounds us, and what if everything is music? I mean, to me, music is everything, but what if literally everything itself is music? Everything in the world vibrates on a molecular level, and vibration causes sound. And sound, depending upon how you receive it can be music, or is music in my world. And it made me, as I say, it sort of turned my mind inside out a little bit, hearing that that tune had existed in two different places at the same time with no connection at all. Something else, as a composer, I write music for films. It's sort of like being a child in a toy shop. It's too much fun. It's not really a job. I mean, people are silly enough to pay me to do it, but it's kind of a fun thing, really. And when I'm writing, I'm always looking for a thing in the middle ground between being joyful with music and being kind of melancholic. And there's this thing in the middle that we all look for, which is, it's called the chill. It's like that goosebumps. We call it goosebumps in English. And there was a very interesting study done into this by a fantastic scientist called Jan Panksepp. And he took a crowd of subjects and he played them Mozart. Now, Mozart is meant to be very good for your brain. If you play Mozart to your child, they will be Einstein. Well, Mozart wasn't even Einstein, so I don't think that's necessarily true. And it's a bit like saying, if I watch the Olympics, and I watched a lot of the Olympics, it will make me very fit. Why are you laughing? It didn't. However, if I go for a run, it will make me fit. And if I play music, it might help my brain plasticity change a little bit. Now, this Jan Panksepp did a fantastic study into a group of subjects. So he played them the Mozart Sonata for 2 pianos, which is meant to be very good for children's brains. And they all stood around, listening to it. No. And then he thought, okay, I'll change the music. I'll play them some Brahms, some music by Brahms. So he played that to them. And they stood around, not very interested. And he thought, okay, let's change it a bit. I'll play them some Pink Floyd. And so he played them Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. And just at the end of the first verse of the first song, before the chorus, they all ruffled their feathers at the same time. Oh, I should have said they were chickens. They were chickens. I didn't mention that earlier. And they all ruffled their feathers. And he thought, well, that is very strange. So he put the CD back to the beginning and pressed play again. And the same thing happened on exactly the same chord at the same time. And he realized that the chickens were having goosebumps or chicken bumps. I don't know. Sorry, I play music for a living. I don't talk. And we realized that it was sort of that even animals experience this chill, this kind of rush, this wonderful endorphic lift from music. And it's the thing that I'm always looking for as well. And I thought we could try something with it today, because when Horacio Franco was playing the recorder today, I had goosebumps totally and utterly in the last piece he was playing. It was just wonderful, because not only was he playing beautifully, but the chords working in the particular order that they do sound incredible, and they do something to your body. I don't know why. And I thought what might be quite interesting is, I've not prepared a piece to finish with, but I thought it could be quite interesting if I make one up from a few things that I've spotted today and have heard. So as I say, this could go horribly wrong. And I'm going to use my very old piece of technology here, which is sort of a perfect digital interface. It uses fingers, so it is digital. I suspect it will be around in 200 years' time, whereas my iPad certainly won't be. Not if my children still keep playing with it. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to connect it to a few bits of clever technology, because I know we like technology here. So I've got one pedal here. I'm not going to lift it up because it will go wrong, unlike this, which won't go wrong if I lift it up. This one makes everything an octave lower, which is great. This one here, this red one, will record everything I'm doing and then play it back, which means I can then play something on top of that, and then maybe something on top of that. There is a problem with this, because when I make a mistake, it will come back around again and again and again. Sorry. So there's a few things I noticed. As I say, I think there's music in the air, and we would say in England that you can make music from thin air. Now, one thing you have plenty of here is thin air. The air is very thin indeed, having trouble even breathing. So, and the other thing I've noticed, you've got a very large volcano outside. I don't want to worry you, but there was steam coming out of it, so I thought we could bring that into it somehow. Also, in Francois's beautiful film about the spider in Liverpool, there was a little shot of a seagull. Now, another what-if thing. What if the cello was actually a synthesizer? Now, I think it can be. For instance, if I wanted to represent that seagull on the cello, I wouldn't use a computer. I'll probably just try and do it like this. It's kind of there anyway. If I wanted to... No, don't. If I wanted to try and attempt to copy Horatio's incredible recorder sound, it might be something more like this. So, might use that. I came from Mexico City yesterday. You've got a lot of traffic there, plus motorcyclists who seem intent on killing themselves. So, might be something like this. There's kind of possibly traffic there. Okay. And when David Gallo was talking earlier, he was talking about sort of obviously the world's oceans, and I know it's a fascinating thing how little water there is. And we've been talking about longevity and living to a ripe old age. I'm thinking, oh, blue whales, we can bring them into it somehow. Because they sing. So what I'm going to try to do, and apologies in advance, is I'm going to try to make a piece of music, this is what composers do, that's going to mix up volcanoes, and maybe it got flooded around here once, maybe there are seagulls, there's a whale, there's a volcano, there's those lovely chords from Horatio's last piece. Maybe Salim Ismail, when he was talking, he used a phrase, he speaks in D minor, when he said, "You're the thing that makes it happen," he said, is how he said it, so that might find its way in. So I'm not going to talk anymore, I'm just going to play for you, and I hope this doesn't go wrong, and thank you for listening.